I was
Yeah.
thinking, I'm like, it's time for a Good Morning Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm always afraid I'm going to get us canceled, so I try to watch what I say sometimes.
Like he's got a rubber band on his wrist, and he goes to say something. He flicks that rubber band. Like, nope.
I got my Cataclysmic Better Together band. Snap. No. Bad.
All right. So
Don't say that.
this isn't actually the end of the podcast, but it's been hectic. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in the last month, I've been to locals once. I had a baby. Little Digitama hatched.
Wait. You had a, what did you say? You had a baby?
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, I haven't seen this yet, so I haven't even messed around with Discord enough to know what's going on.
Shit, yeah, Discord's got a soundboard now. We're an 80s sitcom. Hit the laugh track, Mikey. We're all funny tonight.
Well, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh no, this is gonna be terrible.
Yeah, sorry, I can't find the laugh. But yes, it's awesome.
Not that we were monetized to begin with, but now that we've been hit with copyright and are demonetized, Mikey, say whatever the hell you want to say.
This is gonna be great.
I think some of our guys added some more. Here's Agumon.
Agumon, desenvolve para.
What? Yeah, so if you want to add sounds to our soundboard, where is that at? How do you get to it?
Was that Agumon from Wish?
Yeah.
It's right below the disconnect icon in Discord.
Yes, and so you can add sound. So like, just like emojis, you can add sounds like, there's just. That's what plays with me and Andrew start to play one another in Digimon. Some of these you better watch out for. Some of these are super questionable. I'm not clicking on some of these.
Yeah, I think I'll hold off and mess with it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so had a baby.
Congratulations. I was looking for a clap. Is what I was looking for.
Little Digitama hatched and came 4 weeks early. But happy, healthy, mama's good. So that's all good. What about you guys?
Well, I'll kick this off. Grinding. Lots of Digimon. Not only in the server, but playing some Mario gaming stuff and doing our own online weekly locals, which you don't have to be local for. It's just, it's what
we call it locals because for several of the people who join our online weekly, it is their only source of being able to play Digimon. So for them, it is their locals.
I guess weeklies would be a more appropriate term, but locals is a better. We like.
So yeah, just doing that, and then still working on the garage, and that's about it for me. So a decent balance, but I am tired.
Constant state.
Yeah. Well, obviously I play Digimon, and anybody who plays Digimon, you can probably hazard a guess that they are some level of a weeb and or a degenerate. And so I've been grinding profusely in a new gacha game, Honkai Star Rail.
I've seen some ads for that now. I'm avoiding them, but it looks very, very good actually.
That being said, I'm entirely free to play. Have not spent a penny on the game yet. Game is very fun, and once you make it through the majority of the story, you really only have to play like 20 to 30 minutes a day at most.
Okay.
So it's once you get through the bulk of the story, which the story is very good. Like, don't rush through it. Read everything you can read, listen to everything you can listen to, play through the story as much as possible. The story is very good. MiHoYo does a good job at writing their stories. I felt the same way when I played through Genshin, and I didn't finish the Genshin story. I played up to the end of the Liyue, but the Genshin story was very good, especially the little side quests where you could go and find tidbits of information about the world building. That was amazing. Yeah, Honkai Star Rail. Been grinding it a ton.
Nice. And how
So
many
is it-
times? How many times did you win locals every week?
What?
How many times did you win locals while we haven't
Over
been
the
able to
past
cast?
4 weeks.
All 4
Oh,
weeks.
I didn't win this past week
That's true.
because that was a store championship, and we had some boys from Knoxville come up, and one of them took it. Our very
Oh no,
own.
that wasn't the store championship. That's
Wasn't that a store championship?
nope. That is
You know
not
what?
next week, but the week after.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
and
I was
Logan
I
was
was
just
I was
feeling
mistaken.
Logan was just feeling super generous, and Mega Sweaty wanted to see you guys.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mega
Yeah,
Sweaty
no,
and
no, yeah. Corbin Cards and Games takes care of its boys.
that
They
is
do.
a fact.
Logan, I won't be able to come to a lot of them. Show me some love.
Love me from a distance.
By the
Love
way,
me from a distance.
did you ever get your revision pack?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Haggy got
I
it when he
video,
FaceTimed me.
Okay.
I video called him and I was like, "Hey, tell Logan you want your revision pack, and then I can get it for you." So he doesn't think I'm just like shadily trying to snag an extra revision pack.
And it
But
did have
Mikey
some
let me
stuff I
bust
wanted.
it.
Which deep down you were trying to snag one so you could get another machine.
Mikey told me he's like, "Hey, open it, see if it's got your machine Dramon in it," and it did not.
Sadly, no. It
It
had an
was
Aegis
it
Dramon.
was the Aegis Dramon Hydramon pack. And for anyone who doesn't know, those revision packs are seeded. So like each pack has set cards it's gonna have. So
Yep. If you look at
so
the front card in the pack, you can generally determine what the other cards in the pack are going to be based on that front card because they're all seeded.
Dang.
yep. So no machine Dramon pack. With the release of BT12, I have moved on to playing, I guess, Hunters. I don't know if I'm going to make that my main deck, but I have built Hunters out of BT12 and have upgraded my other decks. I guess at a competitive standpoint, currently Hunters is my most competitive deck outside of, Ulti Cup rulings, which we got new Ulti Cup rules too. We can talk about
Bruh.
a new ban and limit list.
Oh yeah. We do have a new ban and limit list for the Ulti Cup. Well,
Hydracy.
yeah.
He paid for the many atrocities he caused.
For sure. I'm trying to find that list right now. But yeah, they didn't add Itmon EX2, and then the Hydramon, and that's kind of it, really, isn't it? They didn't add anything else, did they?
I will say Hydramon is better than Shivamon, but as a Bloomlord player,
Shiva Quartz. Well,
I prefer Shiva, but I really like Shivamon.
Let's
Shiva
see.
Quartz makes me cringe.
But
Oh.
yeah, going forward. I mean,
Oh.
they're just gonna play Quartz, or they're gonna. In my case,
So,
we're gonna play Shiva.
let me pull up the rules here. I should have streamed this so you guys could see it too.
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah, other than busy with work and just odd stuff around the house, that's about all I've been up to.
Let's see. Let's pull up the rules there for the stream.
because I think they just added mainly those.
It's still the
Because
single color.
yeah,
Every card in your deck has to match. Have to have a color related to your eggs.
they're really trying to make a. I will not say casual or copium cup. They're just trying to make a like
Balance.
a more balance to where everyone can bring a deck and
More
play.
accessible.
You could bring Aegis or something crazy. Like I mean, I did really well with Ancient Greymon, which isn't a big shocker to be honest. But yeah, just more of the decks you want to play. Like Yellow Hybrid, still I like it. It's just trying to balance, like Jordan said, it's trying to balance everything out without affecting the rest of the game. So it's just for Ulti Cup. Nah, that's what I was about to
Unknowingly,
say.
Mikey linked it in Discord, did he not?
Someone did, but I can't remember how far away that actually was. It was in news. And sadly, there's been not a lot of news, but they keep putting those daggum better quality images. Yeah, here they are. Oh, it was actually Andrew. It was
You.
cardboard.
Oh, I think it was you or Drew. I remember. I assumed it was you because you're our Ulti Cup participant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
Wit.
Rankua was already on there. Chaos Dag was already on there. So they added Impmon, they added Hydra.
Yeah, that was it.
And then wasn't there a new band card or no? Okay. Yeah, so they added Hydra and Impmon. Call the Beelzemon and Bloom Lord players, I guess. But I mean, both decks are still really playable,
Oh.
I feel.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said,
I guess
there's
Bloom Lord's
backup
just going to switch.
cards.
Yeah, Bloom Lord's just going to switch back to Shiva, or more likely to run Quartz because
And
Or both.
and
Quartz is
and B
Quartz. Yeah.
BL's is just going to go to the old Impmon, when you swing and he dies, on deletion mill 3. So I mean, it's not now it just doesn't give you as many choices. It's like, oh, it just funnels me a little bit more. Still the same tool. It's just the EX2 imp will slow you down in your milling process when you're milling because that's its effect. If you didn't know, when you mill
Like
EX2 imp, you get to mill more.
like using a hammer to drive a nail, or not nail, using a hammer to drive a screw.
Yeah.
Gets the job done. It might not be as effective. You're going to get there at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I know one event we was all a huge part of, and it was our charity event,
Yeah.
our Better Together tournament. And we want to thank everybody. If you haven't been following us on socials, we had an amazing turnout. It was awesome for all of us to get to chit chat and, cast the games and to see, 20 guys, show up, and Mega Sweaty took it. And then Snow Ombre got second. And then Big Pickle Man or Logan took third. So we had 2 Cross players. And I think Snow was playing, was he not playing Black War
It
Gray?
was Greymon. Yeah, it was Black
Or yeah,
War Gray.
Greymon, yeah.
It was
So
a
yeah.
Greymon variant. I'm not sure which one. Probably black.
Yes.
20 players. It was really nice seeing our little community come together and do something.
It was beyond expectations in basically every way. Like really happy
And
with how it turned out.
yep, and support gained from outside of the community. With we had some surprise prize donations dropped midstream by a very courteous card shop, Main Phase 1. They are in Indiana.
Evansville,
Yeah.
Indiana. Shout out to them.
Yes. Yep. They
They've
even
got-
came through and gave some prize support for our locals on Saturday.
Yeah. Which the guys were super excited about. It wasn't a ton. We didn't have a huge turnout. We had 11 people for that, and Cordell, that boy, took that one, and then Leopard Sama and Guapo Grim one, which I'm very fond of because I like seeing names, that are regulars, I guess, winning. It's very cool.
No offense to Mega Sweaty, but
Technically, he's almost a regular now.
yeah,
I
he's
mean,
getting there. He's getting there. I mean, he did come and visit us. Like, they drove 2 hours to come play
Yeah.
at our locals, so that was awesome. And he saved a bunch of money on shipping for all their stuff. So
Yes. Thank
shout
you.
out to that.
Woo!
I got everybody's prizes sent out today. That was the postman didn't come at me, luckily. I went to the small
But-
post office down the road and nobody ever goes there, so I just gave him something to do.
And then those who won the T-shirts, those are made to order, so those will be a little further out, correct?
Yep, I gotta order those and get them shipped to them.
You know what? What was
Go
you
ahead.
going to say? No, what was you going to say, Jordan? Because I was about.
I was going to bring up that our lovely winner of the BT9 booster donated it back to the community, so we get to throw it back into our prize pool for future events.
Woohoo! He said he'll win it again, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he'd just come back and win it again.
make
Mike
it like
is
a
confident.
trophy. make it
Dude,
literally
we're
a trophy.
just
Hey, at
cursed.
this point, we might as well put it in a safety box and
BT9 box is forever destined to be with us.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Mikey only buys BT9 boxes with Death X in them.
For sure. I mean, hey, I've bought out of all my boxes you guys seen. Bogger's my thing. I pulled one X7 superior mode.
okay,
6
I pulled them for
Boggers.
you.
Yeah,
6 Boggers. 3 alt, 3 regular.
and no black rare or black or whatever that new.
I call it the negative
is.
rare because it's black and white. So I've called it the negative rare and then the gold.
Yeah.
I guess it could be platinum. So speaking of BT 12, what are you guys manning? So Jordan, you said you're going to do hunters, because I think that's something I've noticed over the last 3 or 4 days. A lot of people that are coming in want to know what to build, because a lot of us have tons of decks, like just too many decks. We're not going to play them all. So what is your main focus this set, guys? That you think will do well?
Oh, like I said earlier, hunters, and for anyone coming into the game, hunters is a really competitive deck. Relatively cheap deck too. Yeah,
I was gonna say very cheap.
Yeah, the most expensive card in the deck are superior modes and quartz. If you play quartz, I mean quartz is like $5, and I think regular art superior mode is either 5 or 8.
Dang,
And
it's
you only
that
need
cheap?
2 quartz. Yeah, dude, prices dropped.
Yeah, don't buy
So many,
resale.
so many people are opening product. and everything else in the deck is common
Should have
outside of
bought War
Superior Mode and Quartz,
Greymon.
and a few of the Tamers are rares. But yeah, no, I mean this deck is very affordable. And it'll get you there. It's one of those things like nothing else in the set. I was really caught my eye. I had been playing Kroos, so obviously I just drifted to the next Kroos archetype. But as far as like locals have went, I've been pet decking Aegistermon. And BT12 gave me some new toys to play with Aegistermon in the new hybrid line. So
But sadly for you, Troopmon said no.
just Bagra in general said no. It's like, okay, my only play out of this is my level 5 in my hand. Well, we're gonna snipe that out of your hand. Okay. Or haha, I finally have my stacks rolling. Oh, we're gonna force prost those stacks. Okay.
Just throw this
Hey, I got a combo off through. Yeah, I got a combo off through 2 Troopmons and a Mad Leomon. Oh, cool! It's no longer my turn. You drew 4 cards and have 7 memory.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Goop fade.
Because sometimes it don't be like that. If you guys want to see how decks do not do not run like they're supposed to, go watch my cardboards matches the other night. It was terrible for both of us.
I have decided and did get all the cards together to build Shine Greymon and Imperial Dramon, but right now they're still bindered. And of course, as you guys know, and you know, who knows me knows, I've been slow rolling Machine Dramon since forever because I refused to pay $20 for EX1 Machine Dramons. But thanks to the Harada pack, he is now a like $6 card. So I will be playing Machine Dramon.
About time.
It's only been since like EX1, right?
No, exactly, since EX1, and I'm so glad because
technically BT1 because I played the original Machine Dramon in my Craniumon deck. So you know, it's been a minute.
I want to see that deck more because I think that is a deck that can do pretty decent in Ultimate Cup.
It's been. I don't know if I'm not seeing a lot of success on it in the NA format, but I know just like local reports, like cup reports and stuff out of like Japan and other Eastern regions. I see a lot of Machine Dramon. Don't know if they just like the deck over there, if it's just works better in their style of play, but
well, they're also playing best of one, most of them, so that could be a factor.
Eat that too.
So, Tiny, what are you rocking this set? Because you've been having Gallantmon and Black War Greymon for a while. So, what are you taking from this set? Anything new?
I've been wanting to build Hunters, but I doubt that'll be my main deck. I'm probably gonna stick with Black or Gray as my main deck.
Let's be fair. Your Black War Greymon deck is a little more unique than the standard. Our boy here rocks a black base, and it performs extremely well for him.
You know, everybody else is moving on to using the new War Greymon. They've switched out of Black War Gray X, and they've moved on to War Greymon.
The raid.
Man,
I mean,
I wish they wouldn't
he's
have.
good. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He is very good. But I'm just gonna stick with Black or Gray,
Which is still really good. Like that's something we always rotate to the new shiny thing. So I think it's cool that you're staying because it's all these older decks are still good decks. Like Black War Greymon did not die.
Hunters is a tamer heavy deck, so you still have all your
I was gonna say
have all your
hunters and crossheart are still gonna be popular, and they're both tamer heavy decks. So Black or Greymon is still gonna go burr.
still going to go burr indeed. Well, trying to spotlight on Mr. Nightmares, Mikey here. What are you working on?
Being the designated gogglehead of the group, I have officially went back to War Greymon. And
Of the new Raid War Greymon.
I like it because, like Tiny said, it's really Raid is a really strong mechanic. Just because of
New Gallantmon is cracked. Raid. It's OP.
That's one of the decks I want to really focus on. I've built the new Imperial, and I do have, a love and a raging heart on for Jogris and DNA Digivolution, just because I think the mechanic is a amazing. I won't say broken. We won't throw that around, but a very, very strong mechanic in the game. Raid is a simpler mechanic that is well, and especially with what War Greymon does. If you raid, when you digivolve, his big thing is he gets plus 3,000 and reboot for the turn, which works well with the new tie that gives you blocker and plus 1,000 when you digivolve into a Greymon. And then if you do raid, he's able to unsuspend. So when a target is switched. So he's sadly, I wish he wouldn't have blown up, because now every stinking the War Grey X Anybody alt art and the War Greymon alt art, which I only needed one more of, they were sitting at like $23, and now they're almost at 40. So I was like, oof, dang, I really should have bought that faster. So yeah, there's definitely some hype around him.
When it loses the next few Ulti Cups and regionals, those prices will go down.
I don't see it doing, to be honest, I don't see it doing super well in Ulti Cup, just because there's a lot of other decks that can definitely outpace it. Which Ancient Greymon, Bloom Lord, like, don't get me wrong, with our current build, it's more to, like, we run Hades Forces options and stuff. It's control-y, but it's not able, like, we don't run Crimson Blaze as much. We don't run Gaia Force. We're mainly just depending on Hades Force to kind of help us with board control. So yeah, I don't think it will do super well in an Ulti Cup scenario, because once again, it's just like the old, you're having to choose between, do I go, because you can't run Cool Boy, which I don't now, but you do get the benefit of having red tie. But if you choose red base, you can't get the new tie, and you can't use Yuya, which gives you a ton of protection, a ton of your protection. So I think that's why I won't do well in Ulti Cups, because I don't think the black places are strong.
Yep. And you mentioned Imperial Dramon. Didn't one of our Discord boys pull some kooky OTK at locals?
Oh yeah.
Guapo.
Shout out to Guapo. He posted a tutorial of said OTK on his TikTok.
Yep.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
I'm super glad that I was able to capture it and he was able to use that. It's exactly why I wanted to start streaming the locals when I'm available.
Yeah. As a very, thought that was very nice, very nice.
But yes,
It proves the strength of Jogris 100% if you watch him and you can hear in his voice how excited he was that he's like, yes, it popped off.
But yeah,
This is the nature of combo decks.
That sparked my interest in Imperial, so I'm slowly working on that. But I also have, me being controlly as I am, I've got Hexablouse over here with the new Gecko Mons.
Hello.
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 Sorry, you guys are there now. I got scared for a minute.
You were all alone. Yeah, got Hexablow on the way. Last night I played that Bagra Army that Leechy posted on Joe Davi's page. I tried it out. I made some adjustments that work for me. So I'll probably test it some more soon.
Which now I think it's going to zoom because, good little segue. Me and the guys are wanting to start doing a new series and actually try to keep up with it. And it's teaching you how to play decks.
Oh,
Yeah.
not
and,
Dougie.
and to be fair, when he says try to keep up with, just please be patient and understand that we are all adults with families and full-time jobs,
Yeah.
and the
Listen,
two of us have children, so
if
we will
anybody
keep
has
up
been
with it the best we can.
if anybody has been listening since the first little snippet that I posted when before the card game was even out in America, those are the real fans.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of that, before it cash came out, digging through my bulk over the past couple weekends, slimming down on some card games I no longer participate in, I found the two original proxy decks that we
Oh,
made and we're screaming with.
How sweet.
A little green turbo, and you had some kind of blue Leomon
Oh yeah.
buffoonery.
The Blurple Leomon.
shoo. Sounds rough to play against, to be
Don't
honest.
worry, don't worry. This has been his play style the whole time, Mikey. It's
never
not.
change.
It's not something he's doing just to spite our local gogglehead. It's he is the villain arc.
Shoo. And
Listen,
it's
it
tough
was
too.
back in the day. It was good.
No, that's what I said. I said it sounds rough to play because you got to think of what the meta was at the time and how you really dealt with Leomon. Like he was pretty strong. He still kind of is. The new one, the newest one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I feel like the only thing holding the Leomon deck back is they don't have a good level 6
let's
yet.
just remember this meta hasn't been out long at all, guys. So there's still, I don't think as a community as a whole, thank you all for the ones that do dive into these decks, but I don't think enough people really dive into the decks to see
Yeah.
what all they can
I
do.
mean, I don't play Leomon. I'm just talking specifically blue green Jerry X antibody Leomon. It's just like that deck doesn't have a top end. They need a level 6.
Oh
They
yeah.
have all the other tools. They have all the other stuff to be successful.
Well,
They have no top end.
they've made a lot of like Saber Leomons and Boncho. Like
Yeah, but
they
it's
made all
like
this stuff, but it's not a
it's
true
like,
top end for that archetype.
and they gave us Dino Tigermon,
Which I
but we
tried.
don't have a viable Saber Leomon to effectively use Dino Tigermon.
They're both terrible. They're both very
Yeah.
vanilla.
Yeah, so I don't know, like the engine alone. Like I bought the engine specifically to run in Mirage Galgamon. Like it is a good engine. They need their own top end
Listen,
WinCon. I guess they need their own WinCon.
well, the problem is Leomon dies before he gets to his top end.
We get that. Well, that is funny because Bandai sticks really true to that stuff in the
Listen,
card game as well.
The creators and designers of these cards. I was listening the other day to Digipod, and they were talking about this. The designers of the cards stick to
Lore.
the themes, yeah. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, lore, the
Gallantmon,
anime tropes.
yeah. Gallantmon is good against D Reaper. Like,
And Beelzemon.
yeah, and Beelzemon. Like, they just stick to it.
Gallantmon says, "How many cards are in your discard pile?"
They're
Cool.
Mhm.
Now trash that security stack.
they're hardcore fans, which is good.
Be- Beelzemon doesn't do well against D Reaper because if you watch the anime, you understand. Like he does good for a while. He tries his darndest, buddy. It's just it doesn't happen. I do like that about the card game, though. We talked about that in earlier episodes. How like purple's the villain color for the most part.
Yep. But now it's Arrestra Development.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
Aristodramon is he has Bogramon's data. That is why he is purple, and that is why superior mode force crosses like Bogramon. Thank you to oh my god, I blanked his name. It was one of the lovely members of Team Demon Lord that came to our locals this weekend. Shined that tidbit of info onto me because I have not watched Hunters. I have not finished Crows. It was a slog. So, yeah. But yeah, it still fits thematically. That's why we now have a purple gogglehead. Is because Gumdramon and Aristodramon have Bogramon DNA, not DNA, Bogramon data.
data. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. That's why they have similar effects. That's why they're
You know what?
purple.
I think this is a good time to. Look,
A good time to
speaking of,
end it.
I was going to start talking about evil. Speaking of evil, it's not in the Digimon.
It's that time.
Bandai tournament has been brought to light.
You're cutting in and out. What was that? Something about Bandai tournament?
Evil.
No, dang it! Did I go out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I here now?
Hell of a time to go out. But yeah, you went. You're gone, boy.
Never.
Everybody's on the internet. No, I'm back now.
Unfortunate.
You're good now.
But yeah, there was a Bandai cheater in a One Piece online tournament, and it was a very slick, almost unnoticed sleight of hand.
Definitely better than our Dark Knightmon player sleight of hand.
So I think we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. I think this just goes like we've all wanted more in-person regionals, and the online client needs to exist for this reason because this isn't going to happen. Like and I know cheating in person will still happen, but you got to be good to cheat in person. I mean, really good.
Like, I mean, and in-person cheating happens. Like when we played Pokemon back in the day, we were at the Memphis regional where one of the better known players got caught cheating playing Greninja Break. Like,
Yep.
like escorted out of the venue, banned, like everything. Like, I mean, in-person cheating happens too, but when you have an online environment where people can blame low quality webcam, poor internet connection, this, that, like you're gonna
It's
like
just kind
I'm
of
not
asking
saying that
for it.
yeah, it's like the
Mhm.
environment doesn't condone it, but it's like it inhibits it. It's just like somebody's like, oh, I bet I could get away with this and just blame my webcam if something happens. Like the Dark Nine player. I mean, he just straight up threw the cards behind him and said, "Oh, judge, that's my camera angle."
Well, and you have to go off people's integrity, but we don't know these people. Like for instance, like during the Mario's gaming tournament, Mario lost internet completely and still is having internet issues. I was having graphics card issues, which was making my computer go on the fritz. So thank you to everybody that put up with me because that should have been by, tournament standards a loss. But they totally had faith in me, and thank you all because like I said, when you're a part of a community and you play quite a bit, people do get to know you, but and I also, like I said, I can't really cheat because I won't say that I don't have the brains for it. I just don't have the ability for it. So
You
I
also
don't know.
have your little Jesus watching you.
Yes, Jesus is watching me at all times. My Jesus head that's attached to my webcam.
Oh man.
He's always watching. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like, and we need
we need in person, and like we're
in person. We
having
need.
more, but they're
Go
bad
ahead.
talking about. Well, they're bad talking about it. Like I'm always searching. Like, hey, when's this? Like PPG. I'm trolling their Discord channels. Top Cut, all these places. Best Coast Pairing to make sure when they make a new announcement that guys are there because they sell out pretty fast, and online regionals are happening more because they're easier. But we need more in-person regionals like Pokemon. You basically need 10 to 12. Basically you cover like regions because they are
So, and
regionals.
here's my thought on this, and this is like, I guess, a business standpoint. When you look at these in-person regionals, it's always like in our area, Knoxville, it's always Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional Championship sponsored by Card Monster Games. Like, I think with an online environment, it's easier for shops like Pro Play Games or Core TCG for them to say, yeah, we'll do a regional webcam, make it online, make it
Well,
happen. I
so
mean, they don't got to rent a venue, they don't got to manage, vendors, they don't got to, fire code and COVID code, and
there
No,
was
I agree.
it's just like F it, do it live, fire up the cameras.
there was an interesting post that I seen on the Digimon Facebook though, and somebody said that he owned a shop and sent Bandai a message and was like, "Hey, I want to be a host for these regionals. Like, I want to be a TO." And they said they responded saying that they weren't looking for TOs right now.
Mm-hmm. That's been a
So
Bandai issue since the beginning.
it's not just nobody wants to do it.
Because if you look
It's
at all the
fear.
regionals we are having, they're all big conventions that are happening, whether a card shop hosts a Digimon regional there or not, like MomoCon, and then one of
Oh,
the more
yeah.
recently announced ones is happening at a convention, Gen Con.
Yep. Speaking of, I will be there
Yeah,
all
like
weekend.
it's it's like, yeah, we're getting these in-person regionals, but it's like because the environment's presented itself. It's not that some TOs like, we're gonna make an in-person regional happen. They're like, oh, cool. There's already a convention this weekend. There's already a reason for these people to come out and play. So let's just make it happen.
Well, see, the problem with that though is if I wouldn't be going to Gen Con if I didn't win those tickets. Shout out to Professor Walt on TikTok.
Woohoo!
I wouldn't be going, but I want to at least go and play in the regional enough to get the participation stuff. But I'm not gonna
Yeah.
pay $400 for tickets to Gen Con if the only thing I care about is playing Digimon, and I don't want to go to that if
Well,
I didn't want to go to it, you know.
and that's another issue you talked about. Like Gen Con's cool. There's so much at Gen Con, but that's also a problem. If you're going to have a Digimon tournament in Gen Con, you don't have to schedule a lot of things to be able to do them at Gen Con. What if the tournament, affects your time of doing other things at Gen Con? You're going to have to miss stuff.
Yep.
But we're not where Pokemon's at. We're not where Pokemon can just come in and rent out Knoxville and be like, okay, this is it. It's just all Pokemon. There's nothing here but Pokemon. And, 3,800 people show up. I don't think we're there yet. We're big. I mean, because, we're clearly, the regionals are selling out, 500 plus people or whatever. And of course, the online ones are because they're, like we said, easier to access. But what do we do about it?
I
There's
feel
nothing we
like
can do about it.
no. And I mean, fault lies in with Bandai too, because I think they're going forward, they're putting all their eggs in the Battle Spirit basket.
Yep.
Here's the problem with that though too. They One Piece and everything. They're still throwing it off to PPG and Top Cut
Mhm.
and all these other places, and
yeah.
they're leaving it up to them, and they're still
I'm
doing
sorry,
online tournaments.
going forward, I think the only like Bandai supported tournament is going to be BSS. Like I just that they're putting all their eggs in that basket, and it may be a fun card game, but it's like, why would you watch other clearly profitable IPs, you know, struggle in the shadows and just keep dropping new ones? Because like even
Mm,
before BSS came out, there was a whole regional thing planned for the $1 million world championship, because it's all these big cash prizes to drive the sale of this game and the launch of this game,
I
because that
gave
one's
I gave you all the Dota versus League analogy, but that's different because it's two totally different companies. With this, like you said, you can't. I mean, Dragon Ball Super. God
at
rest his
least with
soul.
Super, they're giving Super an online client. They're like, hey, we dropped the ball. Here you
Yeah,
go.
but is it?
Thrive online.
After how long did they
Yeah,
drop the ball? There's so many people that don't even play it now.
I
That
had to leave it. I literally had to leave because there was no nothing for it. Like I went on to Digimon because I mean that's how I even found out about Digimon was I was playing in some online tournaments for Super, and then it's like this new Bandai game's coming out, Digimon. I was like, what the fuck did you say? What'd you say? Digimon? And I was like, all right. And what is the point, Bandai? Like we really want to know, like what
I mean, and BSS has been out for, I mean, not here, obviously, but BSS has been a thing for years. Like, it's not like a new IP. It's new over here because they decided to, monetize the piss out of it. And
well,
but
they're roping Tiny too. Tiny, didn't you? What was it you said that they were getting for BSS?
So
Gundam.
far, it's confirmed to have a Gundam expansion.
And
Okay.
But
I'm on record saying, like, the old BSS game, because I think Saga's kind of a reinvention to make it more competitive. But there was, I mean, BSS has been around for a while, and like I follow a lot of like niche Digimon YouTubers on like VPets and like the old toys, and I mean, in like South American countries, like Digimon's big. But like, yeah, like I've watched people open BSS Digimon cards for years now. Like, oh, we got a new pack of Battle Spirits Digimon, and they're opening Digimon cards, but they're Battle Spirits cards. Like Bandai puts their other IPs in this game.
Well, they're doing a separate ban list for America too, is what
Mm-hmm.
somebody was saying. Did I hear that right?
yeah,
you did.
yeah,
So
they're
I
they're
didn't mean to
not
interrupt you, Tiny.
they're not making the mistake that they made with Digimon, where they're trying to match the set releases and the ban lists and everything from the East and the West. Instead, the West is going to have entirely different set release like orders
And
and
that's
card orders, and also entirely different ban lists.
I mean, that's Konami with Yu-Gi-Oh.
The OCG versus the
TCG is
TCG.
Yeah, TCG is always behind the OCG, but we have separate ban lists. And if I mean, just like Digimon, if you look at the OCG meta versus the TCG meta, like they are similar but have drastic differences, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh, because there's decks that are completely viable in OCG that are just banned to hell over here.
So what do we feel about it? Because I don't think Digimon will die. But here's the problem: it's like we're dancing around it, but we're all feeling it. You even said it. When money comes involved, money talks and
Yeah,
it
like
walks.
where was and my thing is like, I don't care that they're doing cash prizes. Hell yeah, cash prizes, but like where was that when Super was really big? Where was that when
We didn't
Digimon
have
launched?
it.
Granted, Digimon launched at a horrible time and by all
Yeah,
means should not have survived over here.
agreed.
Because
Agreed.
because it released at a terrible time. Bandai did not handle it properly over here, and even to this day, we have terrible quality issues this side because they're trying to rush stuff. But like, there was that. I mean, they didn't even have that with One Piece, and One Piece launched relatively successfully. But it's just
But they
like,
made it a global launch as well,
mm-hmm.
which I think they done better. And I'm not saying I won't play Battle Spirits, guys, because y'all know me. I dabble in way too many card games.
You're like me. I mean, like some people go to the local gas station on their way home and buy a lottery ticket and hope they win big. I stop by
Yep.
Walmart or the
Buy a couple packs.
local card shop, buy a few packs. Like, oh, that card game's new. Give me a pack or two. Let's see if I pull that chase. I mean, I still do that with Yu-Gi-Oh. I
Let
don't
me get a
actively
hit of
play
that.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, like I
Let
don't
me get a
actively play
dab.
Yu-Gi-Oh, but when the new set drops, I buy 5 or 6 packs just to see what happens.
But
Same thing with Pokemon. I buy a Pokemon pack every time a new set launches. Couple.
getting back to
Hell, I bought a
Digimon.
One Piece. Yeah, I bought a One Piece structure deck. Never played One Piece. I bought a Battle Spirit structure deck. Not sure I'll play Battle Spirit. Hell, I traded
I
in
think I
bulk.
will
And
play Battle
got
Spirits, to be honest.
I traded in bulk and bought a Battle Spirits box just because out of the handful of packs of Battle Spirits I bought,
You
I
made
hit
your money
pretty
back.
good and made
Yeah.
all my money back. So I was like, well, I'll buy a booster box. And my booster box did not pay for itself, but I'm not going to say I didn't have good hits.
And it's intrigued me. Like I said, Battle Spirits has definitely like caught my eye. And I'm not saying I will play it, guys. More than likely. We're 80% sure. But getting back to Digimon, like Bandai it's out of our hands. Bandai has to do it. We can sit here and complain and fuss all we want. You know, we're at the mercy of Bandai. Like,
Yeah, especially
and
if shops are reaching out saying, hey, we want to be a TO and make this happen. And Bandai's like, yeah, no, we're not currently, we
getting
don't want
more.
none of that. Like,
Mhm.
why?
It's okay
Well,
though, because we're trying to
we're
supplement that with our own product.
yes, but thank God for Mario Gaming, for Avault, for Dark Wizard, all these people that do and it's all we got. So it's like, for instance, like they're having an in-person regionals that popped up the week before I'm going to Atlanta, and it's in Indiana, and it's like, oh man, but it's the week before. Me being a full-time worker. See, this is where I kind of stay out of it. I want more regionals, but I can't go to that many regionals. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. I can't ask off that many days of work.
Yeah.
So then
Give
I'm
us
a
more
weekend.
regionals. We'll go pro.
Yeah.
Let us in on that circuit. We got this.
Well, I'm a weekend guy. If I had the normal, like most people, like 9 to 5, but sadly my work days are Friday through Tuesday a lot. So I'm having to work. If I got, a Sunday through, Thursday, or like that's just how my company works. I
Yay,
would play in a
retail.
lot more. Yeah, yay retail. I would play in a lot more. I just can't. But I do think there needs to be more because people will travel for these. Like we've seen people drive to California for Nats or fly to California for nationals. Pokemon,
Shout out Team Demon
Team
Lord.
Team Demon Lord,
Sweaty and them. They were at Nats, man.
and that brings up the discussion of this too. This is a good time to segue in this. That store championships will not be giving invites to nationals. Only regionals will get you. So that's the big hot topic right now is, well, hey, if I can only get my nationals invite at regionals, because a lot of people didn't show up to nationals to begin with. Like that's why, like, I think I was going to say 38, 40 spots. There was a ton of spots being played for at Nats, just in the little cup they do to open up to fill those slots of people that don't show up.
Pre-qualifier.
Yeah, the pre-qualifier. So,
Or the last chance.
but here's my thought on that though. For instance, our locals, until Team Demon Lord showed up this week, we are the most competitive I would say me and Tiny in our deck building.
Yeah, most of the people who come to our locals come playing
Fun stuff or jank.
fun and jank stuff. Occasionally, someone will show up with a rogue deck that like could be competitive if played well, but for the most part, they play a lot of jank. And so, if you show up with anything even remotely competitive, you're probably gonna win.
Like the last few locals, I mean, I've played Aegis-Dramon. Like I'm kind of pet decking that right now. Like that deck right now has my attention. I like the way it plays. Like
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think about it? I think that we should have more regionals, but I'm also okay with locals not giving invites to nationals.
I
The hot
agree, and
take.
I think they had a good idea with the earning your invite to nationals to a
and
tournament. And
my
so
thing with and we saw this happen. We know it happens. It happens in every card game. But with these 18 player limit store championships giving national invites, you have people hitting multiple stores in one weekend, a whole crew, win trading or like, hey, if I win the invite, I'll give it to you. Like that was a problem.
And everyone does
And
it.
I'm fine with that. Like we had it happen. Like the guy that won it, and he got all the prize support, but he gave the invite to the guy that came in second. But the guy that won it was not going to pay to go to California.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Give it to somebody that will go out there and play, and someone that did go out there and play. But like our little shop in Corbin, 18 player limit. We had people from Knoxville. We had the, Team Demon Lord crew driving a few hours out, because they're trying to land their invites for their whole squad. Which, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Get your squad out there. That way you all chip in, travel is cheaper. But it's like when there's an 18 player limit and you can show up with half of that player limit as a team, you're kind of skewing the odds you're getting your homeboy the invite,
Well,
which that's fine. If you're gonna go, like I went and played the store championships, and I made it very clear my ass was not going to California. So had I been in that same situation, and the guy sitting across from me is like, "Hey, I've got the ticket. I'm going to Cali." It's like, okay, cool, bro. Have fun. Here it is. I would have passed it on. But like, I think that was another thing. Was like, you had a lot of this, what is the word that I cannot think of?
I can't think of the word either, but we're not calling
Collusion.
anybody. We're not calling anybody
Yeah,
out
no.
either.
No, I would have done the same shit. Like I'm not saying
Everybody
like, oh,
does
you
it.
shouldn't have done that. Like, but it's like collusion. You get a lot of collusion, especially when there's such a small player cap of like 18.
And I
It's like,
do agree with Haggy. Most of us aren't. I do not have the time off or the income to fly out to anywhere
same.
unless it's close. Like maybe if it's Florida
Yeah.
or like somewhere I can drive in 3 or 4 hours.
Like, why should I win something I'm not going to use? And then like, I'm not, like I don't fault the guy. Like I would have done the same thing in that scenario. Hey, I'm not going to Cali. Like I won. Just give me the booster box. Here's your ticket, bud. Like,
Well, now, what was you going to say about that though, Tiny? I know you have usually pretty grounded insight for this kind of stuff.
so my thoughts would be the best way to remedy this is you implement a couple of restrictions, and also you make it so that only the truly competitive players who want to progress and make it to the top can make it to the next level. So, in order to go to regionals, you don't just go to regionals. You take a page out of the previous way of things, and you get your regional invites from locals, and then you get your Nats invite from regionals, This would cut down a lot of the chaff to make sure that the people who are going to these events want to be there and want to win. This would also increase participation at locals because people couldn't just sit around doing nothing until regionals came around.
Mikey's, yeah, Mikey's on record saying it too. It's like the Pokemon system. Make locals give points. Make store championships give slightly more points. Make regionals give points, and then have a point buy system to get to Nats.
You have to have this many points to even get to that.
Now here's the
Yeah.
other thing. I think in order to enter a store championship at a given store, you should have to have a certain amount of participation in that store's normal
Ooh.
locals.
Oh yes,
This would prevent win
'Cause-
trading. This would prevent people from traveling all over the place to different stores to steal invites from people at those locals who want to go.
So for most of us, we live an hour away from both of our stores we could call our locals.
Yes.
Which puts them about 2 hours away from each other. So this is what we experienced for all of last store championship season was one locals did their championships on Saturday, and then the other one did theirs on Sunday. So you had again 18 player cutoff. You had 5 to 6 players hitting both back to back.
And that group also took both back to back.
Yes, back to back. And I mean, I no fault. I'm not complaining. I lost, whatever. I wasn't going to California. Those guys win. I'm fine with that. Buddy, win it, take it. Your squad's going as long as you just go.
Yeah.
Don't show up as just like a pub stomp. Like, oh yeah, no, these guys aren't. And no one had that attitude. I don't want to come off as like these guys came to our locals and just said, blah, blah, blah. No, whatever, man, come out. I love seeing a packed locals.
We did invite them, for the and we were talking about how good, and we always brag about how good our locals treats us, and they do. They treat us well. So of course they're going to be like, hey, let's go visit them at their home turf. It's kind of like that,
Yeah, I'm not throwing shade on anybody. If we're trying to nitpick faults in the system, this is how I see it.
We just need a better system. And like I said, there's many avenues we could go down. Like Tiny had a good one. If the point system is too complex for what the structure we have, Tiny structure his idea done works off what we have right now. We done have locals, we done have store championships. Boom, boom, boom. You just climb the ladder, and it done works. And I think that would be one of the best systems. But, and we understand there's a lot of you guys, we've talked about it already in our community, that do not have a locals. So yes, it is tough for you all, and we are sorry for that. But if we want true nationals, like when you watch Pokemon or Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or things like that, and you see the best of the best slinging cardboard, there's nothing like it. Like when you go to Pokemon regionals and you see those top players at that top table, you're like, oh wow, I never thought about running that in that deck. I never seen it played like that. You are seeing top tier performance. It's like college versus NBA. It's like, college versus NL, high school versus college. That tier, there's a reason there's tiers. As you age and as you grow, skill level grows. So I feel like that should be the thing. If you want to go to do well at store championships, you need to start playing tougher at locals. You want to go to regionals, need to start playing harder at those store championships. And if you don't want to, there's always locals, and you can just come have fun, And there's seasons for that as well. Everyone knows once it's over, you can go back to playing your jank and stuff and just be casual.
I mean, another thing, on the point system, do something, make locals matter. Give people a reason to show up every week.
That's why online locals do better, I say. It's easier, for one, I don't have to leave the comfort of my house.
Yeah.
And we give pretty good pricing. I mean,
Mhm.
pretty solid pricing.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
And
it's
the
another
the
thing. Like,
obvious,
and that comes back to Bandai. They got to do something to make this like. I want this game to thrive, and like right now, it's like I'm sitting on the back pew watching, BSS up on the podium getting all the praise. It's like
What's that meme
I
where
was here first.
the kid's poking has a stick and he's poking something, he's do something?
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. Sorry. I'd seen it in my head.
Yeah, like,
Do something.
uh,
The little sludge guy just poking it. Do something.
mhm. But it's like, mhm.
But once again, I'm going to rotate back to this as well. People get burnout way too fast. Like, I call it the generation of Fortnite because Fortnite is instant gratification games. You can drop in, win a match. There's always something, a new skin, a new schematic. All the time they're doing something. In card games, people have that same philosophy. Like, there's done people that are burnt out on BT12 because they don't like anything in the set or
Of course
they
one.
don't like the meta. Yeah.
Well, something
Of
else
course one.
that's wrong with that is whenever it drops in Japan, they're like, "Oh, I want to play this. I want to play this. I want to play this. I'm gonna test
And
this
we've
over and
talked about
over."
that too. Like we're testing BT12 and we're just barely into BT10. So like by the time we get BT12, we've been playing it for 6 months and we're like, oh yeah, I don't like this format anymore. It's like, well, you've been playing it for 6 months when it wasn't legal.
Mm-hmm. I think that's why a lot of I know the mainstreams I watch have went away from proxy tournaments until it's like a week or two away.
Yeah, like and especially if like an online regional is about to happen. Like I get
Yeah.
playtest, learn the meta, learn the format, But like that far ahead, it's like
Play
it's
responsibly.
like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh. Like we're always chasing the JP meta because we can always see what the next best thing is. And Yu-Gi-Oh kind of counters that with the different separate banned limited lists, but I mean 9 times out of 10, if it's meta in Japan, it's going to be meta when it hits TCG. But another thing Yu-Gi-Oh does is they do world premiere archetypes, which is an archetype that will only be in the TCG meta at launch. Like Japan will eventually get it, but it's a way of giving us something that the Japanese
Class it up some.
meta doesn't have.
Yeah.
So like it's like, yeah, they're always ahead of us and always have cards before we have it, but now we're getting something that they don't have. And throw a dart at a phone book, 9 times out of 10, the world premiere archetypes are tier 1. Because, Co-Money knows how to sell product.
I mean, but that's good, right? I mean,
Yeah, like
because you're trying to gain interest.
yeah, and then it's like, oh well, our format has this deck that Japan doesn't have and won't have for several months after us. It's like, yeah, we're always behind them, but now we have cards that they don't have. So now they can be on the outside looking in.
Maybe it's because and I've thought about this over the last couple of days too, because I wanted to talk about that because my soapbox, it does
We're
ground
just
my.
grumpy old men.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I am. I mean, because where I don't play we know there's people in our community that play the same as we do. It's a lot more, we're casually competitive. Like, we don't get to play a lot, but we are competitive for the most part. We just don't get to play as much as some of you. Like, we're not in three to four tournaments online a week, playing.
No, but we're in 5 to 6 group chats always talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we may not be playing, but we are always discussing something. related to this game.
But like I said, I think that's just an overall issue that we as humans have is like Jessamon. I don't think Jessmon's dead. I don't think Jessmon's dead.
Speaking of Jessmon,
We
they
went away from it.
teased the store championship prize packs
Yes.
and top cut packs, and they showed Sistermon some love. Those cards look good. They gave them that
Yes.
old gold treatment that Machine Dramon, and what was the other gold card? Was it Ulf? No, it was
All
Machine
fours.
Dramon,
Mastamon and Ulforce.
Yeah.
Mastamon, and
They're
Ulforce.
gorgeous.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, they gave them that gold foiling. Oh my god, dude, these cards are pretty. Good thing Jessmon can. Right.
Well, see, I'm going to go ahead and I'm preaching it myself, guys, because this group knows I like Jessmon. And then, Savior Hut got banned to 1. I dropped away from it. We got the new starter decks. I played a little bit. Sadly, GX was 50 bajillion freaking dollars. And I was like, Jordan, I'm not paying $100 for 2 freaking cards.
I don't play enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get to play enough to validate that kind of like yeah, I've wanted Machine Dramon since EX1, but I was not, because at that time the Machine Dramon deck played 4 of the EX1 Machine Dramon. We didn't have Chaos Mon X. We did not have the newer Chaos Dramon. We had the OG Chaos Dramon and EX2 or not EX2, yeah, whatever. But like it was $20 card. The deck ran 4 of them. I just couldn't throw $80 at a non-meta deck to play locals once every couple weeks because there were no regionals. I'm not a huge advocate of webcam tournaments. They're not that fun to me, but my setup's also not. I don't have the space or the environment to comfortably play in a webcam tournament. And that's just like my household. Like I have a lot of pets. There's always a lot of background noise in my house. My gaming space is not that large. I have a lot of hobbies in there. Like I don't have adequate stuff for me to enjoy a webcam tournament. And so that's me. It's like there's more accessible, closer regionals. Like I would love to hit regionals. Like hell, I hadn't touched a Pokemon deck in 6 years, and I went to the Knoxville regional for Pokemon because it was an hour away from my house.
And it was so much fun.
It was fun. Yeah, like I don't play Pokemon anymore. I hadn't competitively played Pokemon since Sun and Moon. I got online, I bought a budget deck, and I went and played because I like playing card games.
But
sorry, that's my soapbox.
Well, we gotta get there, and don't give up on Digimon. And I think a lot of people are done here, and there's just so many people. Like there's just so much, and I don't think we get to play enough. It's like I'm not a fan of playing against hunters. Like I love,
and that's fair.
Yeah, I love playing in our community, and I didn't mean, I feel like maybe that I did disrespect him some because I went and got a drink while he was playing hunters because it takes so long. I don't get to interact a lot because there's no, turn interactions in Digimon. But it took a while.
And with hunters, everything has save, and all the new save cards. It's like you deleted this, it saves. Then I get to take one from the trash and save. So it's like even on your turn when you're doing stuff, they're still doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so I'm going to save this under Tamer 2, and I get to go in my trash and put this one under Tamer 5. And then you do another play. Okay, well, this one saves under Tamer 3, and I get to go in my trash, put this one under Tamer 1.
But
all while drawing cards and gaining memory, and it's like, okay.
But that's the big issue.
Turn is it? It's I will give it, like, hunters can feel very solitary.
Yes.
Like I think it is one of the more Like Yu-Gi-Oh has that. Like they have solitaire decks, like where you're just there and they're just doing their thing and they're winning because they're doing their thing, and you're just like, huh. Digimon, thankfully, is not that bad, but hunters can feel like you're playing against a solitaire deck. Like I said, even on your turn, if you're deleting and popping stuff, if you're not deleting tamers, they're still doing stuff.
But that's also the case as well when
And
you just
Bagra
gotta
also same way.
you just gotta play
If
more
you're
though.
Mhm.
That I think that's the biggest thing is like that's why I'm excited about this next series is we always have people do tech deck videos and show the combos and all this stuff, but a lot of players go in and they're not playing 10, 12 matches against these main decks. They're not playing like you need to have experiences because you can't win if you don't know what your opponent is going to do. And that is something like yes,
Yeah, like
archetypes are going to be better against other archetypes like in Pokemon. If I'm playing a water deck and you're playing a fire deck, you know, sorry.
like yeah, like you may not want to play the deck and you may have no interest in playing the deck, but if
You
you're
need to
gonna
know the
play
deck.
against the deck, you gotta know the deck. Like that's Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I I played in a Yu-Gi-Oh locals a few weeks ago, and I mean I did not win a game. And I was asking, what does that do? And I told my opponent straight up, I said, I was at the card shop. Y'all needed an extra player to fire this event. I conveniently had my deck on me because I carry my deck suitcase everywhere I go, and it has one Yu-Gi-Oh deck in it. And I still talk to one of the Yu-Gi-Oh players there because he was a local. God, how many years ago was that, Drew? That we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, like that's how long. Yeah, that's how long he's been in the community, and it's like I see him at locals. I'm like, hey man, how's things going? It's just like and he's the reason I started taking my Yu-Gi-Oh deck. It's like, well, if I'm here and Digimon don't fire, because in the beginning, both these tournament locals fired around the same time, but now Digimon happens later. So it's like now it's like if I got nothing going on, I can go early, play Yu-Gi-Oh, and then play Digimon. But yeah, like I had no like I knew what my deck did, but I had no idea what the decks I were playing against did. So it's like every card they were playing, and I told my opponent when I sat down, I was like, "Hey, I've not played in years. Uh, I was like, you don't gotta waste a whole lot of time explaining your plays. I was like, but I'm not gonna know what your cards do. Just give me the cliff notes. I was like, I have hand traps. I know what my hand traps do. Just tell me what you're gonna do before you do it. I was like, because like once you
No,
start comboing off, you've lost me. Because Yu-Gi-Oh is complicated. I had fun. I lost 3 rounds, then dropped to play Digimon, but I had fun because I
in one of
like
the
slinging
face.
cardboard.
Oops, I think my internet went poopy.
Yeah, you cut out.
Well, I was going to bring up this is Andrew commented on a comment on Facebook today that was talking about that. I don't care if you're new or old. I am, and this is why I do get frustrated, guys. I have a temper and I work on it, but I am uber competitive, like probably more than I should be for my age.
We call
So it's
you. We call him our sweat lord for a reason.
so I don't want to crush you. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I want to beat you at your best. So if I feel like you don't know what something does or you don't know what you're doing, I do not want to slight you because it hurts me. It hurts my ego. I love
Can I make a
winning.
pun?
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at the DBS guy going all Goku. Like I want to fight you at our best. It's like he sits down at the table, throws his opponent a sensu bean, and says, "All right, let's go."
Because what's the satisfaction of winning? It's like when I try to teach my daughter, that's what it feels like. I don't want to beat someone I want to beat you at your best, or it doesn't give me any satisfaction. It doesn't like that's why I like trying to beat Tiny because he knows his decks. He's very good. That's why when you guys are playing your respective decks, I want to beat you at them. Like when you're playing something you don't play a lot, yeah, it's fun and I goof off because that's how I have to turn my brain on. Like I can't get uber competitive because so it's like when Tiny beat me with Mervaloop, I want him to fucking crush me with it, and then later on, if he plays it, he knows how to do it. Like that's what I need.
Another Super Saiyan reference. Like, hey, you knocked me down, but I'm gonna come back stronger.
It's just I don't know. Like that's the way you should be. Like I don't like people swinging into and be like, "Hey, this has blocker. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure?" Like you got like I want to make sure they know because I don't like when you see a stack of Digimon cards with 8 inheritables. Like I don't like being that guy that says, "Oh, well, this happened. Tough stuff."
And I've made it a habit to ask. Like I'll look at somebody's stack and be like, all right, do we have blocker, retail, redirection, protections?
So since I started playing Bagra again, I've been on my opponent's turn saying, "Hey, this card does this. This card does this. This card does this. Your turn." If they don't,
Yeah, because
know.
what is it? It's Tactimon brings them back and gives them blocker, right?
Yep. He'll bring them back and give them blocker. Some of the new cards, like with the new Domimon and
Domimon.
Choo, they give them, if they have saved, they give them blocker. So if these new cards, you don't know that this stuff has blocker or whatever, and it's your responsibility as the player to know what their cards do.
The game state is yes.
Yeah, you should be asking them what's going on and what their cards do, and not
Because
feel like, oh, I'm not gonna ask you what it does, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play.
I get like in Magic, like with judge calls, like it comes down like it is both players' responsibility to maintain a healthy game state. So you may know what your cards do on board, your opponent may not. Now it is not your responsibility to say, hey, this, and this. But if they ask you, it is your responsibility to be like, yeah, my board state is this. If you swing, I have these 2 blockers. This one has retaliation. This effect over here is letting this do this. You can't delete this turn. It's just like, no information on the board is private. Hand is private.
No,
Your deck is private.
Even your opponent's even your opponent's trash. So Beelzemon, if they've got a bunch, you can ask to look through their trash, guys. That is legal. You can go look through their trash to see what they have because then you know if they can warp. Then like don't just sit there and assume. Unless which you're going to get to that state. If you play a deck enough, you always assume they have their combo in hand or they have the pieces in hand or trash or whatever. But if you're new, don't. Or if you've never played the deck and you've been playing the card game for 10 years, don't assume. Ask.
Yep.
Because you're not going to be playing against guys like me that's like, wait a minute. Sure you want to do that? This is why.
Yeah, because like it is like I don't know, it's weird because you do got people that are like, oh, well, it's not my responsibility for you to know what my cards do. Like you didn't ask, you just attacked. You declared attack,
Mm-hmm.
and I blocked with this card that has blocker because of something I did 4 turns ago. Like it's, but if you ask, like that's what I'm getting at. Like if you don't know, ask. Read your opponent's cards on the field. Be polite. Don't just pick up their stuff.
Yeah,
Say,
Always
hey,
ask.
can I read that? What does that do? Or like, especially like decks nowadays, man, they get pretty crazy stacks. Especially if you're going against the DNA deck. Like you're gonna have a level 7 or a level 6 with like 12 materials out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, what happens if I do this? What happens, like you have to share that information if asked. Like I like these guys said, like if you don't know, like I'm gonna be like, okay, just remember I gave this blocker this turn. This has retail or this has reboot, you know, and then we're getting a lot more like start of main phase effects or start of turn effects.
Yep.
Like, and if you read these cards, they are not May effects. Like, technically, you cannot miss timing on these, but if you fail to acknowledge that effect during the phase it has to be acknowledged, one, it is not your opponent's responsibility to say, hey, you didn't use your tamer this turn. But if you've already moved out of your main phase, you can't go back. Legally, can't go back and say, oh, I didn't proc this. So technically, this has blocker. And we had a instance of that on Sunday, and the players were cool. Like, one guy goes, crap, I missed my black tie trigger to give this blocker. And the guy goes, no, that's mandatory. Technically, one of those have blocker. Go ahead and
Yes.
declare which one you're giving blocker. But he was already out of the main phase. He had declared attacks.
Well,
Like, had the opponent wanted to, he'd be like, well, no, you didn't declare that effect. It's no longer start of main phase. Tie doesn't say May. It is a start of main phase mandatory effect. But if you don't declare the trigger, you air quote can miss the timing on it because your opponent can call you on it because it is, in the end, it is both players' responsibility to maintain a healthy game state.
Exactly.
But be polite. That's what I'm preaching. Like,
just show sportsmanship. Just don't be that guy. Like, I don't like
be
those
sitting
guys.
there like, oh, if he misses this proc, I'll win the game. Like, don't say, hey, don't forget your tamers. You know, gotta do that. But like, don't be the guys like, oh, for new to this deck, I didn't proc this start of turn effect. Yeah,
just be a good person.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, don't. I mean, by no means like rewind a game state and make something crazy happen. Like,
well, because sometimes information's been leaked that you can't go back on.
Yeah,
like security checks, Digivolution draws, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, do you guys have anything else? We're hitting an hour and a half. We've missed.
Yeah, I gotta
get on our soapboxes.
Yeah, this was a rant cast. Sorry, guys.
Hey, we
love
missed
you
it.
all.
We've missed it.
Love you all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'll be grumpy next week too.
Before we go, shout out to Main Phase 1 in Evansville, Indiana, for their help with
Big shout out.
tournaments. Can't wait to work with them more. Wholehearted. If you guys need a playmat, go check out Wholehearted. We've got
knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, every time. Like, his art is phenomenal.
Banger after banger.
SecCheck 10 will get you 10% off an order from his website or his Etsy page. And then what else we got, Mikey? Prismatic
Defender. Don't break the bank to bling out your jank. Go to www.prismaticdefender.com to see what they have in stock today. They got playmats, MTG tokens, deck boxes, and of course their wonderful holographic sleeves and matte sleeves and perfect fit inners that are also hollow. You can get yours today with $50 or more on your purchase. You get free shipping, and if you use code SecCheck15 at checkout, you will get 15% off your order. So yeah, use Prismatic Defender to bling out that jank.
And some of their supply may be limited, but we have word they are working on it. So don't get discouraged if you go to their website and they don't have the exact product you're looking for. These guys are great at what they do, and they want to give a quality product. Just give them time.
It's your all's lovely fault.
Yep. So last two things, shameless plugs for us. You can join our Discord through the link in the description.
I think we lost Jordan.
Yeah, he's pulling onto his road, losing him completely. So you can join our Discord. down in the description. We've got weekly locals, online locals, more tournaments to come. And then check out cataclysmicgamingapparel.com to snag some of our t-shirts that we've been designing for the Digimon TCG. And you can use SecCheck15 for 15% off there too.
I love this thing.
Yeah, don't
It's
worry.
too good.
I'm gonna get some more in there. It's coming.
Glorious.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got.
So, is it time?
It is time.
All right. This has been a long awaited episode of the Security Check Digimon TCG podcast.